Have you ever stopped to think about how much of our lives is built on what we dismiss as small talk? I was looking through this fascinating collection of daily interactions, everything from spotting reindeer on a roof to rescheduling a dentist appointment. And it hit me. We spend so much energy trying to learn big words or complex theories, but the real texture of life happens in the margins. It's in the pass the salt or did you see that snow moments.
That is such a crucial observation. We often trivialize these exchanges as filler. But if you really analyze the mechanics of human connection, these simple dialogues are the foundation. They are the glue. When you look at the scenarios we have here, ranging from a cozy winter evening to a stressful morning at the office, you realize that language isn't just about transmitting information. It's about emotional regulation, social signaling, and maintaining relationships.
Exactly. Let's dive into that cozy winter vibe first. There's a scene where a family is looking at Christmas lights, talking about reindeer on the roof and the smell of roasting chestnuts. On the surface, it's just descriptive. But what's really happening there?
It's a shared sensory experience. That's a huge part of language mastery. When one person says, "The snow feels soft tonight," and the other replies, "It feels like the world slows down." They aren't just reporting weather conditions. They are synchronizing their emotional states. It's a technique called mirroring. In the context of learning English or any language, mastering these sensory adjectives, magical, nutty, warm, peaceful, is what takes you from a robot to a human. You aren't just saying, "It is cold," you are saying, "We are in this atmosphere together."
I love that. It's about the atmosphere. But then let's flip the coin to something less magical. We have these scenarios about health, going to the doctor, having a headache, or that classic, "I ate too much cake stomach ache." Why do we feel the need to broadcast our minor ailments so much?
That is fascinating, isn't it? "I have a terrible headache," or "I feel a bit feverish." Anthropologically, this is a call for empathy. In the dialogues we analyzed, you see a specific structure. Complaint followed by validation. The doctor says, "Don't worry, get some rest." Or the mom asks, "Did you eat too much pizza?" It's a ritual. If you want to sound natural in English, you have to learn how to complain politely and how to offer sympathy without being overbearing. It's a dance. You can't just say, "I am sick." You list symptoms, runny nose, sore throat, to build a case for why you deserve care.
Right, it's like presenting evidence in the court of sympathy. And speaking of evidence, let's talk about the favor economy. There's this relatable moment where someone forgets their wallet at a coffee shop. That panic. Oh no, not again.
The forgotten wallet scenario is a masterclass in social negotiation. Think about the stakes. It's not about the $3 for coffee, it's about reputation. The person apologizes profusely. "I promise I'll pay you back." And the other person uses a very specific phrase. "You're a lifesaver."
You're a lifesaver. We use that so casually.
We do, but it does heavy lifting. It elevates a small financial transaction into a heroic act. It saves face for the person who forgot the money. If you're learning a language, those idioms are gold. They smooth over the awkwardness of debt. And notice the banter afterwards? "I'll pay next time." If you remember your wallet, that little bit of teasing is essential. It signals that the relationship is strong enough to handle a mistake. If they were strangers, it would be stiff. Because they are friends, they can use humor to diffuse the tension.
That humor really is the secret sauce. I noticed that in the furniture assembly discussion too. One guy is struggling to build a shelf, and it looks like a pile of wood. The other guy offers to help in exchange for lunch, and this is the best part, taking credit in front of the wife.
That is a perfect example of transactional humor. It acknowledges a vulnerability, "I am bad at building things," and trades it for a service wrapped in a joke. It's a very masculine style of bonding in many cultures, particularly in English-speaking contexts. You don't just say, "Please help me." You make a deal. "I buy lunch, you fix my mess." It turns a moment of incompetence into a bonding ritual. And notice the language used. It's a deal. Simple, punchy, decisive.
It's interesting you mentioned the deal, because there's another side to these interactions, the apology and the excuse. We saw a lot of people running late, missing tickets, or trying to reschedule a dentist appointment. The language of, "I'm sorry, but..."
The soft no. This is critical. In the dentist scenario, the receptionist doesn't just say, "No, we are full." She says, "Unfortunately, this Saturday is completely booked." Then she offers an alternative, and the patient has to negotiate urgency. "But my tooth hurts." It's a push and pull. And then you have the guy who forgot to buy tickets for the show. He uses the classic procrastinator's defense. "I work fast under pressure."
Oh, I felt that one. I work fast under pressure. That is the universal lie we tell ourselves.
It absolutely is, and his friend calls him out on it immediately. "The last time you worked fast, we missed the first half." This brings up an important point about conversational tension. Real dialogue isn't always agreeable. It involves skepticism. If you want to speak English naturally, you have to learn how to doubt someone politely. Phrases like, "Are you sure?" or "Right, because last time," are tools to keep the other person accountable without starting a fight. It adds texture to the relationship.
Texture is a great word for it. It reminds me of the gossip session. Two people seeing a coworker smiling and immediately trying to decode why. Maybe she got good news? No, she broke up with her boyfriend.
Gossip is the original social network. It's how we align our values. In that dialogue, the twist is brilliant. Usually, a breakup is bad news. But here, they reframe it as good news because the boyfriend was a problem. It shows how context shifts the meaning of words. You can't understand the conversation unless you understand the social history. And look at the phrasing. "Apparently, so is she," implying that she is also glad it's over. That word "apparently" is a powerful tool. It distances the speaker from the fact, marking it as hearsay. It's a subtle way of saying, "This is what I heard, don't quote me."
It's amazing how much strategy goes into these simple chats. I want to touch on the domestic stuff too. The spring cleaning and the attic clearing. It feels like a universal struggle. We have too much stuff and we don't know why we keep it.
The attic archaeology. It's a recurring theme. The dialogue about the husband clearing the attic because his wife told him to, and then meeting a neighbor doing the exact same thing, is pure comedy of errors. It highlights a shared human condition, the accumulation of material goods, and the reluctance to let go. But linguistically, look at the specific verbs: sort, donate, pack up, throw away. These are action-oriented. It turns a chore into a narrative. I am not just cleaning, I am purging. And the neighborly advice, "You should clean it regularly," is that classic unsolicited advice we all love to give but hate to receive.
And yet, we take it politely. I know. That's the standard response to being told what to do. Moving on to food, because food is clearly a major theme here, we have the "what's for dinner" debate. The husband who forgot it was his turn to cook.
A dangerous moment.
Extremely. But they pivot to sushi.
The pivot. He forgot dinner, he's in trouble, so he offers an expensive solution: sushi. It's a treat, so why not? This is conflict resolution 101. He admits fault implicitly and pays a fine in the form of a nice dinner. The dialogue shifts from accusation, "You forgot," to anticipation, "I love that place." It shows how quickly the mood can change based on a suggestion. And frankly, knowing the names of food, tuna rolls, edamame, roasted chestnuts, is often the gateway to culture. You aren't just eating, you are participating in a lifestyle.
Speaking of lifestyle, we have to talk about the flip-flops in October guy.
Oh, the optimist.
It's over 70 degrees, he says, but his friend is looking at him like he's crazy.
This is the social norm enforcement conversation. One person breaks a norm, wearing summer shoes in autumn, and the other person uses humor to shame them back into line. You'll remember this when it's snowing. It's playful, but it's enforcing the rules of the group. It also highlights how we use weather as a proxy for personality. The flip-flop wearer is carefree, living in the moment. The friend is practical, future-oriented. All of that character development happens in 4 or 5 lines of dialogue about shoes.
It really makes you realize that there is no such thing as a neutral conversation. Even talking about the weather carries an opinion. So, looking at all these scenarios, from the nervous presentation prep to the messy kitchen baking disaster, what is the big takeaway for someone listening to this? Why does this matter?
The takeaway is that fluency isn't about vocabulary size, it's about emotional intelligence. It's about knowing that when someone says, "This kitchen is the definition of messy," they aren't criticizing the hygiene. They are admiring the effort of baking.
It's about knowing that when a boss says, "I need that agenda before lunch," it's a hard deadline wrapped in a soft request.
It's the subtext.
Precisely. The subtext. These dialogues cover the full spectrum of the human day, waking up sick, rushing to work, making mistakes, laughing with friends, eating dinner, and going to sleep. If you can navigate these 15-minute interactions, you can navigate life in an English-speaking environment. You stop translating words in your head and start translating intentions.
Translating intentions. That is powerful. It's not, what did he say? It's, what is he doing with his words?
Yes, is he bonding? Is he apologizing? Is he negotiating? Is he flirting? In the case of the nice tie compliment at the office, my wife has good taste. That's a deflection. He's being humble. He's deflecting the praise to his wife to appear modest. A computer translates thanks. A human understands the modesty.
And that modesty, that humor, that shared frustration over a dead battery or a forgotten wallet, that is what makes us feel at home with one another. It's comforting, in a way. We are all just stumbling through, trying to build shelves that don't fall down and hoping our friends forgive us when we are late.
And hoping there is sushi at the end of the bad day.
Always hoping for sushi.
But really, it brings us back to the opening image. The lights, the reindeer, the magical feeling. We create that magic through our words. When we validate someone's hard work on a cake, or when we agree that the snow makes the world quiet, we are co-creating reality. That is the philosophy of small talk. It is the collaborative creation of the world we live in.
That is a beautiful place to land. It's not just talk, it's world building. So, to everyone listening, the next time you ask someone, "How are you?" or comment on the weather, remember, you aren't just filling silence. You are tightening the threads of your social web. You are participating in the great human project of connection.
And maybe, just maybe, double check that you have your wallet before you order that coffee.
Solid advice to live by. Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into the shallow end of the pool, which turns out isn't so shallow after all.
Until next time, keep talking.
Goodbye.